Hello and welcome to our 13 Proud Depressive Conversation. I'm Dr. Nita Mishra, your anchor for today's conversation on gaslighting in a relationship, tale of a survivor. For me personally, gaslighting is a new concept. A quick reminder that this unusual group of amazingly courageous individuals was founded by Archana Verma and a few inseparable circle of friends and supporters. It has since grown, and here we are with our 13th monthly conversations, as proud as ever. So, what is gaslighting? Gaslighting is a torturous form of harassment where the victim feels that the tormentor is the protector. Gaslighters make their victims doubt their own sanity. So, listen to Praveen in conversation with Dr. Navodita Kumar, clinical psychologist, Apollo Clinics, Hyderabad, who shares her experience on manipulative relationship and how she broke the shackles. Praveen Malhotra is co-founder of Teachers Grace Scientific Ayurveda. She has been a part of 5 startup companies in a career spanning 29 years. Dynamic, a dynamic, result-oriented leader with a proven track of performance in high-paced organizations. Don't miss the high pace. Superior interpersonal skills capable of resolving multiple and complex issues across functions, which is very important to remember, and motivating staff to improve performance and stronger customer service levels. She also has sales and marketing with over 23 years of extensive experience in television, radio, and now in Ayurveda. She has set up 22 radio stations from scratch, including 2 stations in Jammu and Srinagar, and done pioneering work in the media industry. She has outstanding interpersonal and employee relation skills. We can see that here. She was nominated for News Corp Global Excellence Awards, has been awarded the Fulbright Nehru Scholarship by the US India Education Foundation, was in class of 2010 Global Leadership Forum, Tepper School of Business, Carnegie Mellon University, and I can go on and on. It's 5 pages long, so maybe we can circulate for those who are interested. But she's had a very fulfilling personal and professional life so far, and all my best to her for the future. So at a very personal level, Malhotra ji, I was very tempted to ask you, "Naukri to humko de hi do," and she has kindly offered me in the next 5 years, maybe. So the other highlight of this conversation is the traditional jhumka and the bindi. So please, women and men, get ready with that, and some music later on we can add in. So welcome, Praveen and Dr. Navodita, and I hand it over to you, Praveen.
Thank you so much for lovely introduction. And so Navodita, you want to start with the question, or should I just kind of? You're on mute.
Sorry, Navodita, you're on mute here.
You can go ahead.
Okay. So thank you, Archana, for taking me on in this Proud Depressive group. So how it all started was I had called Archana. I know she is a friend of an ex-colleague, and that's how I met her at Kanti's house, and I kind of remembered her, and my daughter is going to prepare for the civil services exam. So I got in touch with her regarding that, so that maybe Ananya can speak to her. And my daughter happens to be in the same college from where Archana passed out in Delhi, and thereon we kind of got chatting, and I discovered that she was running this group, and she added me onto this group because I also had a difficult phase of depression. It was the longest depression, but when it really peaked was in 2010. So that's how I got introduced to the group, and from there on, I think I've been in this group for the last 8 to 9 months. And then this month I was asked to speak on myself. So what I've done is, like Nita on my bio like a bit too long, and of course I turned 50 this year, so 50 years, a lot has happened, and it was very difficult to kind of put it together in 20 minutes. So what I've done is I took a leaf. I was thinking about it, how am I going to structure this, how am I going to present it to everyone. to give a gist of what I went through, and at the same time, making sure I covered uh, the key thing which I wanted to share. So I've taken a leaf from this film that you all must have seen, In Pursuit of Happiness. What Will Smith has done is he has he's clubbed a few years and then he's captioned them that this is what was basically what's happening, this was happening. So I've tried to do it like that, and I hope that gives you an understanding of what I went through in a sequential manner. So if I have to title, if I have to really title my life of 50 years till now, I would call it redemption. When I sometimes sit back and reflect on what is happening to me, it seems a series of difficult phases. I would still say with a lot of gratitude, a lot of good has happened to me, and especially with the sanity that remained with me, that I'm sitting and talking to you all, and I'm continuing to do work with a lot of enthusiasm. I've been able to raise a good kid. But if in one word I were to sum up the last 50 years, it seems redemption to me, as if I had a lot to do in different relationships, and I just kind of kept doing it. And the voice that always came from inside me was to do for these people who were with me, be it my parents, my sisters, my ex husband, my child, and who all came in my life, my colleagues. I just wanted it to be a teamwork, a kind of a relationship where I could do justice to every role that I played, and in that I wanted to do my duty very well in every role that I played. So I was born in the year 1971, and if I see 1971 to 1990, this was the time that I lived in my hometown Patiala, where I grew up. I did most of my education, and I lived in one house. My father is a professional photographer, and it was a simple middle class living. We just I so I also used to think that I have a fairly simple life. I grew up in one house and I came to another house, and I am not the one who's been traveling around, changing homes, changing cities. So that way, it was a fairly simple life. So this phase of my life, I would call it directionless. I was my upbringing. My mother was a very strict mom, so I grew up in a lot of fear. I was so directionless. I did not know exactly what to do. So the conventional methods of parenting, where children are often expected to do well in academics. You basically look at very conventional careers. My father wanted me to be a doctor. So, without applying yourself as to what you want to do, that after you finish class 10th, you got to take science, and then you got to appear for a medical entrance exam and so on and so forth. Of course, which I failed because it was not my cup of tea. I was not made to do that. I'm not a science student. Anyhow, so I jostled around, did a graduation in BCom, and my inner voice always kept telling me that I got to be financially independent very early on in life. We are three sisters. I was the eldest before, and my mother, like Nita was just talking. Even my mom was very desperate. Desperate is the word, that my daughters should get married, and I being the eldest, and I would feel it a lot because from class 12, my mother used to start building this pressure onto us. Oh, you have to get married. Like the Pride and Prejudice story of Mrs. Bennet. It was a unending rant that my mother had, and it was I did not like it at all. I used to get extremely hassled with what was happening with it. So my whole trip in my mind was that I should quickly start to earn. I had a very clear understanding within myself that before I get married, I should be financially independent. This was a clear mandate. I did not want to be married unless I was working. So what happened was, when I was trying to figure out, I did fairly well in my BCom and I was a topper. And I enrolled into a CA internship also, thought I'll do CA, but I really not so mathematical. It was really not my cup of tea. I applied for a course in Delhi, and the good thing was it was that in 1 year of a compact um, management program, I would get a job at the end of it in the Times of India course. So that looked very nice to me, and I said, "This is it. Let me just go for that." So I kind of cleared that exam thankfully, and I had no backup option. There was no plan B. I don't know what I would have done, but I got through that, and I came to Delhi. I came to Delhi, and like I said, I was directionless. I was so underconfident. I was 20 years old when I came to Delhi. In this last 20 years, that I was always looking for approval. I was always leaning on people to give me some kind of direction. I just didn't know what to do in life, and that's in our course. I actually started doing very well in the course because for me, I think academic excellence or professional excellence was the only thing that I would hold on to give me some kind of self esteem. If I did well in class or if I did well in my career, okay, I think I kind of gave myself a tick. I'm doing all right. So that's where I met my ex-husband. I was only 21 years old and he was 26 years old. But I think the decision had, um, there was a lot of, the upbringing I had and uh, the fear that I'd always been through that kind of led me to take this decision. I thought my mother's wants me to get married and, maybe I should settle down. I'm in a new city. So unsure that I took this hasty decision of getting married. And soon after I passed out of the Times School of Marketing, I started working, and at the same time, um, mom didn't gaslight as much, but at the same time, she kept us at the end of the stick. Um, so we were we were always scared that if you didn't get the right grade, something wrong with you. If you didn't do this well, there's something wrong with you. So um, it was a partial gaslighting, partial spare the rod and spoil the child kind of this thing. So societal expectation not so much as of my own um, 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 what you call my own desire to be kind of settling down or being I think what I was looking was for some kind of emotional support. I think that was completely different. Nita,
Sorry, Praveen, can I just interrupt just for a second? Don't look at the chat. I don't want
okay.
you, the flow that you're in, you just go ahead with your flow and just ignore the chat for now.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, yeah.
Praveen will have to ignore the chat, huh?
Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
So then I think, and then 92 I got married. So 92 to 95 was perhaps the most difficult time of my life. One of the most difficult, and there was another one, but this I would say the most difficult. I would title it as distress and despair. As soon as I got married, I felt very sick, and it was a disease that no doctor could diagnose. So I was going from one doctor to the other. I had lost 15 kilos. I had become, you know, a skeleton, and at the same time, I realized that what the violence that this marriage has to offer, and actually, for somebody to be so completely devoid of empathy, forget that I'm a spouse or I'm a life partner. I'm also very sick. I'm so sick that it's unbelievable. I'm getting hospitalized every month, and the doctors cannot figure out what is wrong with me. I am being tested for cancer. I am being tested for tuberculosis. I'm being tested, and going through all the procedures with pipes going inside. It was very very difficult. I was 21 years old, and imagine if this starts to happen to you at 21 years. You think, but the strangest thing was that at that time I was not. It didn't strike me that I could also die. I was not so scared at that time of death or anything. But I think the relationship and the violence, the abuse that it had, that kind of completely, it was like a road roller going on top of it. I was completely flattened. I really don't know how I survived this 2.5 years and how I got out of it alive, because the doctor said I used to get this terrible pain in my stomach, and they used to say that one of the finest gastroenterologists in Delhi told me, maybe you will have to learn to live with this pain and get a shot every time you have this pain, because we don't know what's happening. Anyhow, then, times change, things change, and um, to keep it brief, finally, it was a very simple thing. It was an appendix which was not getting diagnosed. I got operated, I became fine, and I was back to a normal life. But I came in, I was a topper in my time school, but when I came in, because of my health, I got pushed to the back office, and it seemed that my career is all over. And I thought I'm going to be just treated like a scheduling clerk in a publishing house, and that is what, nothing is going to happen. And times when I had that attitude, they would typecast people, and then people's careers would be ruined. And my underconfidence continued. I never, didn't ever thought I can apply, I can do this. I'm just so underconfident. And I think the point I want to make here is that actually, this kind of parenting technique can damage the child so much that it can have a long, very long lasting impact for the rest of their lives, actually damaging the child so bad. So, what I learned from that was what not to do as a parent. I think that was a good thing that I learned. Anyhow, things changed. 1995 to 2000 was a slightly better period. It was a calmer period. I became alright. I joined Star TV. Professionally, I started doing very well. My husband joined another company where he was happier, and he was happier. And so, in the middle 1 year when I joined Star TV in 1995, and he was still with Times of India, there was a year when I was in a slightly higher salary than him. And that truly showed me how insecure the man was. He couldn't deal with it. That I could actually earn maybe 5-10% more than him. The male ego was getting so insecure. And all through, from as after we got married, he was, in terms of gaslighting, how his behavior was that his behavior was very, very unpredictable. Firstly, you never know what was coming your way any moment. You're always walking a minefield. A bomb would blast every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes. Every day was like you're walking the minefield. And nothing that you could do. I mean, I think what I do, anything and anything that you did for him was not good enough. He would always put you on the defensive. Always put you on the defensive. So what happened in 1996 was finally he got a job in another company where he was earning better than me. And things became slightly better. So from 1995 to 2000, the period I will say was really a calm before the storm. So this period went on. I did very well professionally. He also did very well. He used to travel a lot. We saw less of each other, and it felt that maybe we kind of settled down with each other as a couple. And we saw very little of each other. He would travel from 20 to 25 days at a stretch. Also, when he came back, I would make sure everything is right, the food is right, the house is right, everything is right. So you're just perpetually pleasing somebody. So what I started to learn was that this man is losing it so often. So let me, it never struck to me that I was being so stupid. I don't have to please him so much. But that's maybe, I don't know if all women think like that. But for me, I was not prepared or not ready to break the marriage. I wanted to continue, and I thought that, it's alright. Not everything is perfect. We're all imperfect. I'm also imperfect. So let's just try to make it work rather than, walking out. I was still so unsure. I thought I would not be able to live on my own. So in 2000, I thought things are better. Maybe we could start a family. So in 2000, my daughter was born. 2000 to 2006 uh, was a period. I mean, I took. I think it was a period of um, again a lot of dilemma. I took some wrong decisions with regard to my work. As my daughter was born, my husband realized that I was it was not she's stuck. She is not going to be able to walk out of the marriage so easily. So his exploitation started coming back in a big way, and things started becoming very very difficult, very very difficult again. And I also went through a professional low. I had taken a certain decision to move departments. It didn't work out. I had to leave the company. Uh, so not where, it was not as bad as 92 to 95, but it was not very stable either. But somehow I just chugged along. I tried to be an entrepreneur. It didn't work. I went back to doing a job. Um, my daughter started going to school. So these kind of little small things happened, you know. At the same time, I started falling sick again. Um, I, I contracted a few infections. I was not feeling too well. I was here and there. So, you know, just kind of living one day at a time and getting along. So it went on, and then 2006 came, and I found a new job, something that I like to do. And it was an ex-colleague of mine, and he was this thing. So I thought maybe now things will be better. And we also decided to move out of his parents' house because our daughter was growing up, and we were kind of a little. Um, um, the space was a little less, but we found something very close to his parents' house. His parents were a kind of a support system to me because when I was working, I didn't have to manage the house, and some kind of emotional and other support I got, especially for my daughter. Decided to take up a place. So actually, from 2006 to about 2011, I would say, if I was to title this period, I would call it the beginnings of many endings in my life. Uh, because this was the time I realized truly his gaslighting nature completely. Um, we moved out and we set up a home of our own. I started this new job. So the pressure on running the house came onto me. Looking after the daughter completely came onto me. Of course, I had help at home, and at the same time, my job was extremely demanding. This was the time when I set up the 22 radio station, so I had to travel a lot. And not only that, I joined for one particular responsibility, and the organization gave me another responsibility. So I had to do like 2 to 3 jobs, and it was very 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 taxing, very taxing. So work and home both became battlefields for me. That's when I started getting completely crushed, and his gaslighting went to another level. Nothing was right. How much ever I tried, the food was not right, the house was not right, the maids were not right, nothing was right. And how much ever you could do, he would find something to create um, some kind of violence in the house. And I could see my own child getting, becoming a victim of my father's gaslighting. Because if I would come home from office and he was getting her to do the homework, she would be in tears because she'd be so scared. So if anything is wrong, it is your fault. If anything has gone wrong between me and somebody else, I must have done it wrong. So the classic gaslighting, where you're always putting the person on the defensive and saying that you are not good enough in any way, and the victim, me, always trying to please, please, please. Okay, if he likes to eat this, we shall only make this. If he wants the house like this, we will only like this. If he wants the house clean, so let us get extra staff, to do 5-star hotel like housekeeping. So we just keep we just keep trying harder, 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 because the only way out is to get out of the relationship. The person who's gaslighting you, I don't know about others, but I realized after about 15 to 17 years that this person is never going to change. And this is the way my life will be, and this is not how I will be able to live my life. I'm young right now, I have all the energy, I'm financially dependent, I have the money to do a lot of. Secondly, he never supported me financially. So if I want to work, because I have to do everything. If I don't want to work, then I don't know how you will fend for yourself. That's when I realized that what is this marriage is defunct completely. Wow, what is there in it for me? No emotional support, no financial support, nothing. So it's better that I do something about it. So from 2007 to 8, I started understanding that this has to come to an end. This is not going to work for me. And at the same time, the professional pressure was so much. I realized that I will not come out of it alive. If I'm going to live for 60 years, maybe I will die at 40, because both these men are going to, they're just not. It's not easy. So, um, but I didn't know what to do. My daughter was only 7 to 8 years old, and she could not uh, understand, accept the fact that my parents will get separated. She used to get extremely agonized by this idea. So I thought that I will, my daughter maybe will go to study abroad and I'll go with her. And that is the only way to get out of it, because this man will not let me go, let me go off, or we'll get an easy separation. And then what happened in 2010, I applied for the Fulbright scholarship and I got it. And I went off to the US for 3 months. That was a very, very, it was like an oasis. So time to myself, time to study, time to reflect, time to heal myself. Solitude did me a lot of good. And I think I was so exhausted mentally, physically, that 1 month we had extensive classroom work, but after that, two months we just had to do a project and we were on our own. I would just be by myself, sitting in a coffee shop or sitting in a park and on the bench and just look at nothing. I think I was just kind of healing myself, and it was a good time. I came back, and then slowly, I think I was far more conscious of the fact that both these two things I have to end. And slowly, and I think the more you take a mental resolve on that you want to walk out of these, the point I want to make is here is that once I came back in 2010, so all that I had been going through, I was, I think I was 39 years old. Yeah, I was 39 years old then. That's when, so I had anxiety. I always had fear inside me. But 2010 is the time, once I came back from the US, when the depression really hit me big time. And it was it was a very, very bad case of depression, where I I just couldn't even sit still for 30 seconds. I thought something was suffocating me and I'm going to just, you know, lose it. Um, then I turned to Ayurveda. I have a spiritual guide, he helped me, and in about a month and a half, I was out of my depression. And there I took to, I always, um, you know, had started praying at a very early age, and I was in and out of. So while all this suffering was going on in my life, that's what we do as human beings. We try to turn to um, some kind of spiritual guides, or we try to find some kind of support system. Either we go to astrologers or we go to some, at that time Reiki was a very big thing. I turned to those people if, something would happen, there could be some peace in this married life. But it gave me some intermittent relief, but nothing major happened. And so 2011 really, or a little before that, I turned to the practice of Sanatana Dharma, which was the practice that we do in India, the Hindu practice, where I went to simple praying, the japa. And thereon, I think things started changing. In 2011, um, I started to formalize my separation. And 2012, I got separated. So 2013 onwards, I took a sabbatical from work. I started to work only 2 to 3 days a week. So I think this phase from 2013 to 2018 was a time that I devoted myself to being really a full-time mom because I hadn't been able to spend time with my daughter. And it was a time to, um, you know, heal her because she had been um, a spectator to a toxic relationship, and this had affected her as well. She had anxiety issues as a child already, and you could see how unsure and restless she was. She was extremely anxious as a child. From 2013 onwards, it gave her a lot of time, and how much she transformed as a person after her father left is amazing, and how well she did. I mean, from where to where, from an average student to right on top of the class. In 2018, she finished um, her school. She got into college, um, and so I felt really, well, it was a great feeling. It was a feeling of triumph to see your child do so well, and something, you know, the duty of as a mother that I thought I had not been able to do well because I'm so engaged in work, fulfillment, personal fulfillment, truly. And I'd like to thank my daughter really at this point in time, especially in this forum, that how much she stood up for me as a child. And that really helped the separation also. Had she not stood by me and she would have said, no, I want both of you together, or Papa, I love you, or Papa, you're this thing. She truly told her father in his face that you are not right and you should go, you should leave us alone. So that was truly, truly a miracle. And so 2018 onwards, then I started to thinking of coming back to figuring out how what I want to do with my life now. A major responsibility is all sorted now. My daughter now will figure out what she wants to do. Next, she's on the path of her academic pursuit is truly her calling, and let's see what she does. And then I my friend philosopher guide, he has been running a foundation since 2004. He's a gifted Ayurvedic healer and he treats people free of cost. And he's done a lot of charitable work. So somewhere along the line, I started to do a little bit, very minor contribution to what he was doing with the charitable work that he was doing in terms of the foundation that he was running. Perhaps from 2008 or 9 onwards, I started uh, doing a little bit work with that. And then in 2018, we founded this company because the purpose of this company is to take forward the work that the foundation had been doing, which is set up a charitable hospital at some point in time when we have enough funds. And at the same time, the formulations that he knows from his guru, which are uh, one of their kind, to take them to a larger section of people and heal their pain, their disease, and give them some relief. So that is it in a nutshell. There's so much to say, but you know, uh, there's you know, it's never enough.
Right.
But I have tried to put it in as much structure as possible. I'm not a great orator, firstly,
I
and
think Thank you, Praveen. I think that's amazing. I see so many, I see the pictures, but I also see parallels in my own life. You had the courage much earlier. I have been together for 31 years, and I am seeing how I'm probably a bit delayed in my own life to come to the conclusion. And having said that, I didn't, it's like you say, that you don't realize that's what's happening is something like lighting a gas. So I don't know whether I should read the questions in the chat or leave it to Dr. Navodita to start hers and then probably connect. What do you think? How should we go forward? How would you like it, Navodita?
Yeah, we will first go with the topic and lastly we will answer that questions.
Okay, thanks. So
Okay.
I of you, yes, thank you. And thanks a million for sharing your story.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me on the session. And I think this is the first time I have ever told my story in public. I'm also a person who is, see, I think it is no point hiding anything from anybody, because even if you don't tell, people do get to know that you're in an unhappy marriage, or you're being subjected to violence, because I think early days people could see sometimes the marks on my face and they would knew I've been abused. But we don't have we always think that there's something wrong with me, or we get humiliated inside to be to tell the world that actually I've been hit. But yes, I've been hit, so that's it. I should have the courage to I've been hit, and it is sad, but it happened to me. And I hope uh, people should, women should, and I'm a very strong feminist attitude from inside. I was never subservient. I've seen my mother. I think my mother is a very strong woman, and this is what one good thing that I learned from her, and that way she always supported me. That don't take shit from your husband. You are not there to serve him. If the like if the heat is too much in the kitchen, get out. This is our boss is saying starting. If you just do the kitchen, get out. And my mother also supported me when I said I can't take this any longer. And she actually even told me in 1995, get out. But that time I was so unsure how I will survive in Delhi. I won't be able to last, and how will I live alone? How will I live in a PG? And I kind of continued. Had I left in 95, maybe my life would have been a different story altogether. But I could not master that courage at that point in time. But my only thing that I would like to tell all the women is that, firstly, always keep yourself financially independent, because that will pave the way to your freedom. If I was not financially independent, I would have just had to carry on. Maybe I would become completely mentally, I would have been so life maybe. So,
So proud of you, Praveen. From all of us at PD. So proud, really proud to hear your story. Yes, yes, a round of applause for you from all of us.
thank you, thank you. So I'm going to take questions.
No,
Yeah.
I think the Bodhita will, Nita
Yeah.
will moderate.
Yeah. Yeah, so hello everyone, Namaste. I am Navodita. So thanks for giving me this opportunity to talk about this topic. And I'm thanking Praveen, also Praveen ma'am, to share her story and giving a sight to our audience and like giving a courage and inspiration to others, like how we can survive and why our mental health is important, why our self identity is important. Like as you was mentioning that you was worried about your personal life and how society is going to tell, and you was taking time for your decisions. So it's all about like kuch to log kahenge, like we are always worried about like kuch to log kahenge, if I am wearing this, if I am telling this, if I am looking like this. So we are doing each and everything to please our society. And the thing is, like as you was mentioning about your childhood and about your parents' expectations and different perspectives. The thing is we like as a parent we force our kid, and like we like in our Indian society, like many people don't know about like parenting techniques. They used to force their kids, like they used to force their expectations on their kids. They don't know about like their own zone, like what your kid want to do, in which area your kid is comfortable. We only want to force our kid according to our expectation. So I'm just giving a light on this gaslighting topic. So mainly gaslighting is when your emotions, words, and experiences are twisted and used against you, causing you to question your reality. So in 1944, there was a Hollywood movie, Gaslight. After that, this term was arrived in our presence. Like many people don't know about this term gaslight. We know about like emotional abuse, physical abuse, and different kind of thing, but we don't know about gaslighting. So it's not about only women. It's not about only husband-wife relationship. It can happen to anyone. Like in our school, in our working place, with our relatives, with our friends, or anyone can do this because they know you very well. They know about your reality and in which area you are comfortable, and it's about not only male and female. Okay, so the thing is, one more thing, how you will prove a crime that leaves no physical mark. So like it's a kind of thing, like when we are going through these phases, so we are not able to prove these kind of thing to our audience because we don't have any physical mark. What's emotional thing, it's very when we are someone is emotionally abusing us, so it's different from our physical abuse, and we are not able to correlate between these things. So it's a kind of thing, they are using very warm and cold behavior sometimes to do these kind of thinking, so that it's very manipulative and people are not able to understand also what's going on. There is something wrong with you. They like slowly you like they slowly blame you for each and everything, and like they manipulate the things, like your friend is telling your, about you these kind of thing, or they also used to tell you again and again you look like this, or suppose that you are going to like do something, and they misdirect you for these kind of thing. Okay, so what they will do slowly, they create a situation. In that kind of situation you are not able to recognize that you are wrong, or that person is wrong, or your perception is wrong, or what's wrong with you. This is the main thing here. So there are three common methods they are using in these kind of techniques. They use to hide, they use to change the situation, they use to control the situation, so that you are not able to understand the full situation. So like why, the question is here, why they are doing these things with you only, or in office also, why they are doing it with you, in schools also, why you are a victim of these things. So the main concern is here, why they are
One sorry, just sorry to interrupt you. One small thing I like to add here is I think most people who are gaslighting are bullies.
yeah,
They are always wanting to control
yeah,
the equation in the relationship. They want to be always. They want to control. They want to control you basically. So
yeah, they want to control your feelings, your emotions, and your
why are you
personality.
smiling? Why are you lying down? You know, I was talking to my daughter in the morning. Till the time we stayed together, if when my husband walked into the house, both of us would have to be sitting on the sofa waiting for to receive him. If any one of us were not there and we were not there sitting to receive him, he would create a ruckus that how come that you're lying down. So they are basically, and every time he entered the house, he would have a very he just make everything so unpredictable that you don't know why is he walking in with such a sullen face, what is wrong. So you just start to questioning yourself, if this is not right, that is not right. So with that unpredictability, they make you so vulnerable and insecure that you're perpetually in a state of self-doubt. That's the operating manual.
Yeah.
Sorry, please carry on.
Yeah. So yeah, you are true. Like they want to manipulate your behavior, and they are pretending the things like you are only the person wrong, and you are doing the things all the way. You are doing the wrong, and it's not always in the situation they are criticizing you. They use, that's why I'm telling, a warm or cold behavior they used to do. Sometimes they used to appreciate you also for, like, in a different way, like when you are talking to your husband, or your like, who is gaslighting you, you are a victim. So suppose that they are talking to you and they are telling that your friend was telling that your hairs are not good. So you used to think about, okay, my hairs are good, I like it's looking good, but like, why she is telling like this. So again, they will rotate the situation around you, and they keep telling you these things, so that at last you are going to cut down your hair, or you are going to do something with your hair, that you are changing your things because of their perception, not your perception actually. Okay, so they used to do these kind of things with you, so that you are going to be very manipulative, and they used to manipulate you for these kind of things. So sometime they will over criticize you, like they will they are going to do these kind of thing, like your family members, your friends, or like your partner, that you can't do anything right. Okay, you are going to question your self identity, that I am the person, I am not able to do this in a right way. Okay, sometimes they will intentionally intimate you, or sometimes they will do like these things purposefully also, like they know about your like fears, or the situation, like verbal threats also they used to do, as your husband was also doing this. So he used to do these kind of things, verbal threats also, harassment, or sometimes they use physical abuse also. Okay, they mean to isolate you. The main purpose is here, they mean to isolate you. People want to isolate you from your friends, your relatives, your society, so that you are going to lose your self confidence. Okay, you are going to lose your self confidence when you are not communicating to other, like they who is your best friend, who is your relative, they are going to judge you according to that, and after that they are isolating you in that way, that you don't have any emotional and physical support, no one is going to come for you. Okay, sometimes they want to make a distance also, like they used to give this a term, like in that way, that they don't care about you, whatever you do, it's your decision. After that you are also going to be confused. Okay, because you are behaving like this, I don't care. Okay, it's your decision, you can do whatever you want. So after that you are very much confused, that okay, I am if I am taking this decision, am I right or wrong? So in that way they are trying to manipulate you, and they have some sort of they have some sort of harmful techniques also to control over you. So sometimes what happens, like these kind of peoples are having some personality disorders also. So many people, they don't know about these things, and Like when they are going to visit any psychologist or psychiatrist, after that if they are taking testing and other processes and they are doing, so in that situation they are finding that they are having some sort of psychological issues also. So after that they are doing. So Praveen ma'am, I just wanted to ask you a question here, that when you realize that there is something wrong with you, like with your relationship, when you realized?
Uh, See, like I said, it took me some while to understand what was going on, because in the early years, uh, what happened was like that my ex-husband was 6 years older than me. He had left the army and come back to do this course, and I was much younger than him firstly, so that was another. He used to intimidate me or make me feel unsure that you don't know anything, you're so this thing, you can't drive right, you are your age. He used to his advantage of us. So, and then the fact that he had already worked for 5 years in the army and come back, and that he used to put up the story that I'm having a lot of problem adjusting in the corporate world because I have already worked and come, and restarting all over again is difficult. So he would want a lot of empathy from the entire family, including me, that I'm having problems setting up. Over some years, I think till about 2000, like after 94 and then 96 to 2000, when we were both doing well professionally, not too much of violence and too much of fights in the house. I think I understood this sometime. I got a clear understanding somewhere in 2001, 2002. That's when I started understanding that there is a, matlab, it is a perpetual problem. It is an unending problem. It has nothing to do with the career issue or this thing. Now we've come a long way. Um, there is a personality disorder, and like you were mentioning about the gaslighting personality, they have they're truly Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, because they also have a very charming side to them. So a lot of people will not even believe you.
Yeah.
And like I said, you should not. And women make this mistake where they always want to paint a very perfect outside, everything is fine.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, after 20 years, you want to say that I want to leave this man. They'll say, what is the problem with you? Which I did not make this mistake. Mostly people who had a problem in marriage. So when I decided, they said, oh, we knew you were always troubled, you were always unhappy, you were always so stressed. You were always so stressed, we never saw you happy. So, and people had also seen him misbehave with me. Sometimes he would do it in public also. So it was, and then there was a very charming side to him, where my colleague used to say he's such a wonderful man and he's such a great guy, and and he's extremely good. He's got great oratory skills. He writes so well. So there's a he's a well-read man. There's a see. Not everything is wrong with everyone, and not everything is right with everyone. So there's some good sides too, and there's some good. And the good thing is, I think now, as I said, and we've been apart 10 years now. We've been apart for 10 years now. We have no bitterness. I have no bitterness in me now. Uh, if we have to talk, we talk very peacefully. Like we didn't fight with each other. I did not take him to court, because that would have affected my daughter more than anybody else. I did not do. I had no energy that I wanted to dissipate in a court case. There was no point in becoming revengeful, because it will also have taken a toll on me. Yes, I would have proved a point. Doesn't matter. The the opportunity cost of proving that was so much higher that it is better to conserve that energy and do something, heal yourself, save that money to go for a holiday rather than taking somebody to court. That's what I felt. That was a wiser decision. And I think it did very well. And somewhere it had a very good effect on our daughter also. And it kind of brought some peace to the separation. So we don't get into each other's life. He lives his life, I live my life. And if we have to interact with each other, it is very cordial. It is very sane, and if because we are parents to a child, we will have to sit down and take some decisions together regarding our education, this, and so many things. We hold assets together, all that. And it's very cordial, very, very cordial. And I think because bitterness, revenge, it affects us also, you know. And I think at this point in time of my life, I have no room for that at all. I just think the biggest thing that I want in my life is peace, because that is the best way to heal yourself. And whatever is left of my life, I don't know how long I'm going to live. Uh, I just want to be, each day should be filled with peace
Yeah.
more than anything else.
Yeah, so ma'am, actually, I just wanted to have a look in that scenario, when your husband was physically abusing you, and your mother-in-law and father-in-law used to tell you, कोई बात नहीं, ये तो होता रहता है. So, what was that scenario, and how you was able to move on from that situation?
See, like I said, I am not a person who will take these kind of things lying down. So physically, he was much stronger than me. So if I try to fight it back, I realized that once or twice he could have overpowered me so much that I would have been disabled or something. I could have been hit at a place where it could have had a long term impact on my body. So this I realized very early on in life. So I tried to avoid it as much as possible, but then there were moments when I couldn't. So sometimes I tried to fight back, and mostly I would want to protect myself more than anything else. And yes, my in-laws used to, for them, love for the son was more important. So I used to take them head on, because I'm a person who will take anything head on. I will not take it lying down. ठीक है, मार खा के चुप करके बैठ गए. Some retaliation will come from me, and his parents would come from that saying कोई बात नहीं, कोई बात नहीं. So once I had a daughter, and then I started questioning her. I said, now you have a child that is your own blood. Tomorrow something misbehaves with your granddaughter. How are you going to feel about it? And obviously they would be speechless. And there were times when I told her that if somebody behaves like that with your granddaughter, you kind of person you are, you will slap that person.
Yeah.
And she didn't know what to say to me. They would say, no, we'll tell her, you should not do this is wrong, this is the thing. But it was, nothing of their back. Because for them, sun was the sun. So it's okay, get a blow here and there, get on with life and be normal. But for me, it was very hard. I mean, I just could not deal with it. And and there were times when I tried to fight it back. Uh, and I think somewhere along the line, he realized also that he should not mess with me beyond a point.
Yeah. So there are some warning signs, so that you can have a look in that also, like in our regular uses, like when you are overly critical for yourself only, like your friend, family members or partner, they make you feel that you can't do anything right. This is the one situation. Second situation is you are always apologizing, like you are always telling sorry for each and everything. You are feeling that guilt, and you are doing something wrong. So this is the second sign. Third sign is that you can't understand why you are not happy in your own life. You are not able to figure out these things, that why I'm not happy. I have each and everything. As you was also mentioning that you was earning well, you was earning more than your husband, and sometimes he was feeling very bad about this also, like you are the wife and you are earning more than your husband, and the thing is you have each and everything, but you are not happy in that situation. You don't have that inner satisfaction, and that kind of feeling that I am satisfied fully. So these are the third sign. And like you know that there is something wrong, but you don't know what is wrong. So this is the fourth situation, that you know that something is going on, and you are not able to find out that what is wrong with me. Okay, so these are the signs you have to find out in your day-to-day life. If you are thinking that you are in a toxic relationship or you are a victim of gaslighting. So again, I will come to the point, Praveen ma'am, like how you managed your kid in that whole scenario, like how you was able to take care of your kid in that situation, that he is not going to feel lonely, or like in the whole situation, like from initial stage to after your divorce also. So how you was managing your kid?
So, like I mentioned earlier, uh, with my own growing years, I had a certain understanding on what my parenting style was. It was I was to be the one point person in my daughter's life where she could come back and tell me anything. She would know that she has unconditional support from her mother, and come what may, good, bad, ugly, she is not going to be, criticized for whatever happened. We will have a conversation about it. We will have a conversation like two adults. This thing, but two, three things. I will never hit her. I will never admonish her in public, and I would try and be there as my, given my professional uh, challenges, try and be there as much as possible. So initially when I wasn't I didn't have enough time to be there for her, and there were some strange ways in our office we used to behave where I could not even take my daughter's call if I was in a meeting, so I have been through some very strange situations in life. When your child is calling, you can't pick up the phone. It can be so distressing for the mother. So I tried to do things like I would land up in the school to pick her up once in a while, this, that. So till 2011, 12, these were the kind of things I did. I tried to spend as much time as possible in whatever was there. And I think I gave her a lot of comfort and peace uh, uh, when we spent time with each other. I was a problem solver. I was somebody that she could, she knew that she will find a lot of comfort in my company to be this thing, like what a mother is supposed to do. Um, and after he left, that's when we, that's when things became very eased out in the house. And my style of parenting was that I did not put any undue pressure on my child. I allowed her to make the choices that she wanted to do in terms of anything, in terms of her what she wanted to choose to do in her life. I gave my daughter a lot of freedom, and mostly and importantly, I trust her completely. I don't look over her shoulder. I give her the space that she needs. If she's going out somewhere, I am not asking her 10 times, where are you, who are you going with, this thing. I give her the space. I give space to to anybody who is in a, who is in a relationship. My team people, even the people who work with me, um, to my husband when we were living together. So I think it's very, very important. So I give a lot of space to my child. I trust her. I allow her to take her own decisions. I don't criticize her unnecessarily. And she knows that she can come back and tell me anything um, without any inhibitions. And that has worked very well, pretty much. Of course, we have very honest and upfront chats about everything from sexuality to life, how life is, to relationship, to what the world is all about, why success is important, why excellence in anything that you do is very important, so that whatever she may want to do, she may want to, just be anything. But whatever you do, I think the only thing that I tell her is then do it very well, whatever you embrace. So I've respected whatever she has decided to do. And all in all, because we have attempted to do everything with an open heart and mind, um, it has come out very well. She is a fairly sorted human being, old head on young shoulders, truly. That's how I would like to describe my daughter. At 21, the maturity that she has, not that she's, I think in some ways she's more mature than me. Her ability to deal with people, relationships, um, situations. Sometimes, I take a lot of advice from her. So, and I think it all happened because the separation happened in 2012. Had it not happened, it would have impacted her negatively.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. So it's all about like unconditional acceptance, like you and your daughter was having, and you was able to manage your kid as well in a very well manner at that time. So I just put a like how to deal with these kind of things. So first thing is here, like you have to identify the problem first, like as I was mentioning, like these are the techniques they use, so you have to identify these kind of thing firstly. Second thing is the victim should always look for positive stimuli so that they balance between positive and negative emotions and thoughts, like it always comes in a maintained way. You don't be in a hurry burry position that I am feeling this, why I am feeling this. You have to think about in a positive perspective also. If I am feeling these things, so it's normal for me. Okay, I am a normal human being. Everyone personality is different, and my personality is maybe little bit different from other people's. Okay, talking to a trusted family members or friends or a professional is going to help you in that situation. You have to keep a secret diary always with you so that you can track events including date, time and details what happened. Like normally what is the situation in gaslighting, what they do, like they always try to force you that you are doing wrong, or like you are not able to understand the situation when you are going back. Like he is mentioning that he or she is mentioning that you was telling this thing on that particular time or on that particular situation. So if you are keeping a record with you, like tracking events or like you are not noting down every time and the things, so that you are able to recognize, no, this is not my fault or this is my fault. Okay, so you are able to figure out the things. Get a second opinion always. If you are feeling any of these things, you have to go for a second opinion. As I'm mentioning that you can go to a friend, you can go to a relative, you can take a professional help also. Start with making a small decision. In mental health always, like it is very important, if we are trying to recover or trying to do anything new in our life or trying to figure out also, you have to take a small chunks of decisions or goals for yourself so that you are able to find out these kind of things. Like give yourself permission to feel what you feel. Okay, this is the main important thing for you, that give yourself a permission to feel what you feel. As you was mentioning that you was very like particular about the situation, that no, I am not feeling well in this relationship and this is not going to work for me. And it's not always right, like sometimes we are also wrong. It's not like that, like every relationship is toxic, every relationship is having gaslighting. So we have to find out these things also. How we are suffering in this relationship, we are able to find out these things by mentioning these criteria and by taking help of other people's also. So these are the things I have mentioned, these things like how you are going to deal with it. And at last I just wanted to like tell you tell everyone that if we have conflict in our relationship, try to understand that what is problematic in your relationship. This is the first thing. It's not like that we are here for gaslighting topic, so you are also suffering from gaslighting or you are also in a like toxic relationship. You have to find out first that what is the problem you are suffering from in your relationship, just try to find out. And sometimes talking with your spouse or partner on whom you are having these kind of problem, like in your office, like your working zone, or in your schools or in your college, you have to find out the solutions also, like how I am going to identify these kind of things. So the thing is, if you are working on your marriage, so you have to sit down with your partner and just try to find out that well, this is what I am feeling. What is your opinion? It's not like that I am directly going to blame you that you are doing this and you are doing that, or your friend or your relatives. I'm not going to throw my all the anger, all the emotions directly on them. Instead of doing that, you are going to tell that I am feeling this. What is your opinion? Am I crazy? Am I doing something wrong? Or like you have to relate it very slowly and just try to come to a conclusion, because this is the life you are going to spend with your family and friends, and this is the for one time only. So take your decisions according to your relationship, and you have to give priority to yourself also. Like why we are in that kind of zone, sometimes we are not able to give ourselves as a priority. We always think about our society, our partners, our family members, but we are not able to judge ourselves also. Why I'm not happy? If I am not giving myself me time, so that maybe I'm not happy. I'm not giving myself a me time, so that what you are doing on a daily basis, just try to figure out the things. And in that particular time, in that particular zone, you are feeling very much stressful or depressed, or you have these kind of feeling. So just try to figure out and engage yourself in that kind of particular situation and that kind of time, so that you are able to find out the solution for yourself. And always you have solution with yourself only. This is the thing. Well, while any psychologists, counselors, and psychiatrist is working with you, they can help you out by giving tips or using therapies or other kind of thing. But the thing is, you have to work hard for these things, and you have to first feel that happiness inside. After that, you are going to work on yourself. So that's it. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And I'm happy to be a part of Proud Depressive Group. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Navodita Kumar, and thanks, Praveen. What I'm going to do right now is quickly read out the questions, and Praveen, I will leave it to you to decide which ones you want to answer, because I think you have discussed, and between the two of you, you have discussed most of the issues that have come up in the chat. So I'm just going to quickly read out the questions. So one is, how did your spouse gaslight you and undermine your confidence? And I know you have already spoken about it. Then you have, great comments. And so financial independence is important for women. I think we all know that. And another question is, did your husband ever imagine that you could ask for independence? Do such perpetrators expect submission of their victims? And well, the guess is yes, and others can join in sharing their experience if they wish to. How much gaslighting and undermining women go through in life, also in professional situations. Then there was a question on, you give some examples, doctor, which I think you did, and then you came up with the warm and cold behavior in that. Then the domestic help gaslighting is also interesting. Then my comment on, I tried to put together the words that I thought linked your entire story, it linked to mine also. And courageous, inspiring, warm regards, informative, fruitful, then on future events. So if you want to come up with something that is core, central, or if others want to join in, I just open the floor. We have 10 more minutes. Thank you. Praveen, if you want to say anything, a few last words and any advice you want to give, because I have learned a lot from your story and from Navodita's, how to deal with it and to understand the situation. And sometimes I feel probably I also gaslit. situations. So I think it's a two-way process, is what I am looking at now.
I think I have pretty much spoken everything, and
Yes, thank you, Praveen. Anyone else wants to join in, ask, discuss, or own situations? Because and sometimes we are victims, sometimes we are perpetrators, and we sometimes don't know how it goes. Maybe Navodita, do you have any questions on that? It comes with Tulika's question: how do those who gaslight react to people standing up for themselves? Well, like I said, I think sometimes we gaslight also. Yeah, Navodita, please. Any more insights help?
How do those? There's the question actually.
No, don't look at the questions. So, yeah, like how do you deal with when sometimes when you're going through those questions that you gave, like um, unconditional, like identify the problem, and when you and look for the stimuli. But you've also heard, so when you have a discussion with the person you are having this issue with, the conflict, the person says, "Sorry, I thought you were gaslighting." So when both
Yeah, so
tell each other.
main thing is here. So, as I was mentioning previously, also, it's not always like that. That every person is gaslighting to you. So, first thing is here, you have to be very clear about these things. Before blaming anyone, before telling anything about the situation, you have to identify. It's not like that. If I'm telling that. Like you are not good in this thing, or like you are not looking good or something like that, so sometimes it's for our betterment also. So we have to judge these kind of situation that like they are doing it very purposefully manipulative. And one more thing, we have to understand that person who gaslights us, like they are very intelligent in nature. Okay, they are very intelligent and they are very manipulative. As Praveen ma'am was also mentioning that there was a good part of him. He was very intelligent. Work-wise also, he was very good, and all the things he was doing in a very well manner. So this is a positive thing actually for these things. They are very intelligent in nature, and first thing is we have to identify here. Okay, so
Yeah.
we are going to identify. After that, we are going to take second opinion from other people's. I am feeling this. This is the situation. Am I doing right? Am I feeling right about the situation? And sometimes,
I just have a point, Navodita,
yeah,
to the two things. One, who you take advice from is extremely important.
yeah,
That person should be neutral.
yeah.
Okay.
That's why I'm mentioning that you have to seek a professional help also sometimes.
I never went to seek any advice from my own family because
Yeah.
they would have said, "You're right, he's wrong,"
Hmm.
things like that. So I never spoke to my family or asked them for advice. I always went to a neutral person who would give me an objective view that maybe at some, like you said, I could have also gone wrong somewhere. But the fact is that when we live together, uh, you know, as a couple, as a husband and a wife, there has to be a certain amount of reasonability,
Yeah. Very
some
true.
kind, some empathy, because you're spending 24 hours together, not 24 hours, at least 12 to 14 hours together in the house. So empathy, patience, and it is not that one person is just serving the other person.
Hmm.
You're together. Maybe I like to believe truly that it is a relationship of equals in some way. One person brings X to the table, the other person brings Y to the table. Everyone's duties are well defined out. We come from a very patriarchal mindset that man is the provider. If man was the provider, the woman was also doing so much now. He was just doing it, so the woman was putting the whole thing together. She was bearing children, she was raising them eggs. She was also doing a lot. So, okay, to to be fair to them for whatever they came with. Uh, I don't want to, get onto wear a very feminist hat and say कि नहीं नहीं चलो ठीक है whatever. I don't want to contest this thing. Maybe, but love and respect has to be mutual, na?
Yeah.
It is not. It is a one-way street. You respect the man and you hold him in esteem. But the women have no respect. What kind of double standards is this? And then women have to understand, and they have to make it a point and say that listen, buddy, you have to be respected, and so do I. It's not that this everything is for you. Put your foot down, and the more you put foot down, the more you put your foot down, you will start to understand that where you are headed with this person. That he's never going to relent or he's never going to relent. And you will understand it very quickly. And when you understand that it's only going to be like this, then you make a choice. Do I want to carry on with this for whatever reason? Some women do. They like the comfort and the material comfort that a husband provides, and they keep taking shit all their life because that's the choice that they make. With due respect to anyone for whatever choice they make, I have no judgment on that. But this thing you will understand yourself also very quickly because you all come with some basic intelligence. We always don't need any external person to tell us that what is going wrong with you. We all understand it.
Thanks, Praveen. Can I just interrupt you here because we don't have a lot of time, but people do feel free to get in touch individually because I am definitely going to get in touch with you both. But I just thinking, you spoke about fear, anxiety, and and all of that, living in that fear. And I think I've experienced that as a child. Father and a husband and all of that. You don't realize that till you put your foot down and the conflict comes to it's head on. It's being belittled. And you spoke about your spiritual journey and how that helped you stabilize. Just wondering a quick one-liner on that, or maybe Navodita can say or something on that, and maybe the fact that I found my spiritual journey giving me the confidence that I never had before. Thanks.
Yeah, Praveen ma'am, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, of course, that gave me all the strength to take the decision that I wanted to take. It gave me a direction. It gave me a lot of clarity. That this was not that I could not live with that forever. And two things that this is a point I forgot to mention and I have written it down was one thing that my spiritual master told me always was initially when I discussed in detail all that thing. He told me that you stop arguing with him, And I was a very I'm a fairly reactive person myself. If somebody says something, I will also react to it. So for me, it was a very difficult thing to control myself, that not giving any reaction. But slowly and gradually, I decided that I am going to see how this works. And from a spiritual perspective, they say that the less you entangle yourself, the sooner you get liberated out of the problem. So, as soon as I started implementing it with intensity, I 5 out of 10 times, 7 out of 10 times, 9 out of 10 times, I stopped reacting to what he was saying. I think it started to pave the way for me to my liberation, and at the same time, I started to get a lot of self confidence. My fear started reducing, and I became more and more clear about what I wanted to do with it. And I think the most important thing that spirituality teaches you, apart from hundreds of other things, I think it has the answer to everything in life, is personally that peace is the most important. Don't negotiate. Don't let go, or you should let go anything to find a peaceful existence for yourself.
Thanks. Thanks for that. Navodita, there's one more last question. Maybe you can answer with that. Could a person be engaging with gaslighting behaviors and not know that you know the true intention behind it, and not know that it is gaslighting basically.
Yeah, so actually previously I was also mentioning about these things. Like sometimes we know about these things, like that person is suffering from any kind of psychological disorder or personality disorder also. So it's not like that always that they are doing it intentionally. That's why sometimes if we feel like these type of situations are there, we can take professional help also. So you can
Yeah.
go to a psychiatrist and deal with these kind of things. Explain about your situation. You can ask your partner also if he or she is comfortable to come over there and discuss about these things. So in our language, like half of the problem we are going to solve after talking to anyone. Like when we are sharing our problem to anyone. So we have, like as Praveen ma'am was also mentioning that. We are always when we talk to our relatives or talk to our family members, they deal with these things in a different perspective. So we have to go to that kind of person who is very neutral and who is ready to listen both of the person, and after that he is trying to find out the situation, is there any kind of psychological issue, or what is the problem behind that. After that they are going to give you a solution. So it's always not like that we are blaming anyone, that always they are gaslighting
Yeah.
anyone purposefully. We can't blame anyone for these things.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is,
Thanks.
here our concern is to create awareness that if you are feeling these things, you have to seek help. Don't shut down your mouth and feel these things inside, and after that you are feeling depression or anxiety or any other kind of problem. Just try to share these things to any professional or seek help for these kind of things.
Yes, thanks, Navodita. So, anybody has any last question, comment? Just come ahead. Now is your time. No.
Yeah, I just tell you a few things about the gaslighters. In the Sanatana Dharma, there are three gunas: sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. Tamasic is a reason for violence and lack of awareness. These people, they are never aware of their behavior. And whenever you have any healthy discussion with them, they have the innate ability to invert the discussion. Because they start with as aggressors, and the moment you confront them, they have a nature to become the victim of the situation. And as such, the Tamsin intellect is a very negative intellect which can invert any logic, and logic can be actually taken in any direction. These people are masters at this science of inverting the logic. The other is what they do by creating an atmosphere of existential violence. The violence may be physical, intellectual, verbal, and sometimes non-verbal violence is also there. What they want to do is that control your life and become the master of your destiny and shape you whichever way they want. What they do is every moment you are guessing that how you can please them and keep up. If you're a peace living person, you would always want the peace to come. So what you start doing, that you start negotiating and doing things to please them so that you're able to negotiate peace for your own self. But these people, the more you give in to them, the more they take. They are imperialistic. They are basically intellectual imperialists who want to control you at every point of your life. And what happens, like Praveenji said, that there is a charming side to that. These people are very charming, and they can have 20,000 faces. They can create situation, and other is the problem of the society. I'll tell you, share with you. The society lives on conditioning and traditions. The moment you go for an advice, especially in a married relationship, it is not a job you can change your job. In a marriage-like situation, the first advice the parents and the society is, oh, you are married, now try to make it. They have should have response to it. Where the society has
So,
not grown out of it. Sorry, yeah.
no, sorry, Sanjeev ji. I think we've run over time, but maybe we can have another 2 minutes. The other thing, there's a question which
No,
probably
let's
we have
go on. This
relate
is
to.
interesting.
Hmm?
I mean, whoever
So,
wants to leave can leave. So
yeah,
let
we can continue. I don't have a problem with that, but it
Please,
kind of relates.
just a little, because
Sorry.
Sanjeev ji, can you introduce yourself? Because what you said was extremely insightful.
Yeah, I just want to relate it to the question in the chat, which says, narcissist personalities to your tamasic. So that's the connection I was making.
Yeah, see, the narcissism is a self-obsession basically, and self-obsession is that everything, these people, when they go to work, where there are people who are bigger bullies than them or stronger
Hmm.
than them, they become very submissive. They are very conformist in those
Yeah.
environments. But the moment they find an environment where they can perpetuate their violence in some way or the other, they basically, I've seen a lot of people in households or in workplaces that they are very clever. They're cunning, not the clever is not the word, they're cunning. They can turn like a chameleon or chameleon behavior they have. They tune their colors. If your parents are there, they'll become very caring, and they can play all sorts of
Yeah.
things. And the other is that by the time you understand these people, generally it takes a decade. A decade you understand, and finding yourself in this entire labyrinth. And if you're like in a work situation where you're dealing with your professional life as well as your personal life, you don't know where to, you're always negotiating peace at one place. And the other is that it takes away your own personality from you. This kind of gaslighting people, you stop being natural self, because when you're laughing or you're happy with yourself, they'll come and create some disturbance because they can't see you in any state. If you're sad, they can't see you. If you're happy, they can't see you. If you're succeeding in life, they can't see you. They will always find ways to disturb you. Sometimes the gaslighting does not always happen as violence. Sometimes it happens that these people play victim of situations. They bring in a situation at home that the outside world has been very unreasonable to them. They'll sorry to just use this word, they will just screw your mind into always, they'll have a game every day.
But Sanjeev ji, I want to ask you,
Hmm.
how do you differentiate between a person who's gaslighting and who is suffering from mental illness? Is that a mental illness, gaslighting, which needs help, or should we be sympathetic to them, or should we ignore them?
See, the best answer was given by Ramakrishna Paramahansa. He said that I love the God residing in Cobra, but I don't sleep with Cobra. And let me tell you, these people will never change. They don't think anybody can teach them, and they are very close mind people. You can't take them to a psychiatrist or a therapist. Because they first see, the human existence is such, 99.9 people stay without the awareness of who they are. And to people who live this such tamasic life, there's no way to show the mirror to them. The moment you show more mirror to them, you'll get into more argumentative existence with them. The only way to do is that by some practice, I'm not saying spiritual practice or a physical practice, and to find the right person to give you the right learnings in life. Because if I have not learned the truth, I can't teach you the truth. So it's not easy to find the right teacher in life. But the more you start, first thing is to avoid, never get to an argument with an idiot. Because A, you lack an experience, and B, when you go on a sheer experience, they defeat you. These people are idiots also because they don't know how to live in peace. So the basic thing is, most often than not, in 100% of the cases, more than 100%, I counsel people in various walks of life. I can tell you, these people don't change. Trust me on this, they don't change. If they change, the change will be so temporary. It will be last only 3 months or 6 months. They'll come back to their own again. So you can't change these people. The only way is that you take control of your own destiny, and the best person to tell yourself for yourself, because you will lose your bearings in terms of, because when you second guess and you start behaving by second guessing, there's a part of you which dies in you. And to retrieve that part of your own self, it can take years sometimes. And without a proper counseling and navigation of emotions, it is very difficult to find that part of your own self in life.
And that is very important actually.
Sanjeev ji, please give me your address and your intro.
I just tell you, see, I am a, what do you call, a wanderer in life.
We all are.
So very early in life, I was born in an atheist house. We didn't have even a 1 nanometer of a God in our house. But my parents were saintly. I haven't for the first people, saints I met in my life. I've traveled a lot to find answers in life. I've left in search of truth at a very early age. But I discovered that my own parents were saints. We were brought up in a very disciplined fashion. That was a way that time. 55 years back, it was a regimentalization. Discipline was God. Uh, and then I started searching the truth. In search of the truth, I really traveled a lot, met hundreds of saints of various hues and colors, and was fortunate to meet a lot of people who could help me go inside. Because the happiness can reside only in one place, that is your own mind. It doesn't reside anywhere. And if you put your happiness on staying on people, you'll always be happy.
Yeah.
That's one. That's my other than sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, sorry, this links to me to another question. Sorry, maybe Praveen and Navodita can join in this one because one of the things I've been hearing from the person I am having my conflicts with is saying, I'm not happy, I'm not happy, I want happiness, without realizing that it resides in every little thing we do every day and how we transform that. And that is something I have figured out for myself. So I just wondering whether Praveen went through that thing, saying, I'm not happy with you, I'm not happy, as if happiness is something out there to go and get.
Yeah.
I think to add to what Suniti is saying, one of the key things to become happy is first, I think, the thing required is peace. Without peace, there can be no happiness. And once you have peace, uh, still your mind will wander and it will try to look for things to make itself unhappy. And then it is time to, live in gratitude for what you have, and at the same time, look at always the brighter side of life. I'm at peace, a lot of peace now, but it is not that I'm always happy. I also have my zones of unhappiness. My mind actively seeks unhappiness more than happiness, and you have to constantly work on it, and that's what I do. I pray, of course. That is the first port of call is always to go back to your prayer when your mind is behaving like that, and secondly, to live in gratitude. And so, while Sanjeev ji is introducing himself and he was born with the rest, he is my partner and he's also my spiritual guide. And uh, I would like to thank him for bringing me out of this difficult marriage. He navigated me through a journey from 2004 onwards. I have known him since 1996, but since 2004 is when I started to. He was always my confidant, my friend, and I would meet him very, very rarely. But when I had to take a piece of advice, I would go to him because he was truly a neutral party. And when I was wrong, he told me I was wrong. When my husband was wrong, he told me.
Sorry to interrupt you. Like as Nita ma'am was asking about these things, like the happiness and the things, like so. The main thing is here, we don't know about our limitations. Okay, we have to figure out our limitations first. Like what we do, like when we decide our career, or like when we decide our future journey or anything we decide, we don't think in our way. We always look to other people's, our society, and what other people's are telling, what our parents are telling, what my friends are telling. The truth is here, like we have to know about our limitation first. Like if I am
Yeah.
telling that I am Miss World, so this is not the reality. Okay, if I am telling that I can be a model, this is not the reality. So first thing is here, I have to know about my reality first. Okay, I have to deal with my reality, I have to accept myself first. After that I can work in a better way, and according to that I can plan everything, and according to that I can figure out the things where is the problem and where I am lacking down and why I am not feeling that kind of happiness inside. And that Sanjeev sir was also telling that happiness is within you only, and you have to look at these things and you have to find out the way. समटाइम्स वी फील लाइक आप एक छोटे बच्चे को एक छोटा सा चॉकलेट भी दे देते हो, ही इज वेरी हैप्पी, इंटायर डे ही इज वेरी हैप्पी दैट मुझे कैडबरी मिल गया एंड मुझे ये मिल गया, एंड वो ही इज एक्सप्लेनिंग इट टू एवरीवन. ओके, but the thing is that is his criteria level of happiness. What is your criteria, what is your level, what is your expectation, what is your limitation? According to that you have to work on that area. After that you are able to find out the things and you have a very clear vision about everything.
Nita, can I interrupt here? I
Yeah.
don't know. Personal journey has been such that I think happiness is overrated.
Yeah.
You know, it is only with pain and it is only with trauma that finally you come to be at peace with yourself. Because
Yeah.
if you're always in pursuit of happiness, then happiness eludes you.
Yeah.
Because that was the problem with me before, I sank into severe depression, and that's how, thought of when I came out of making this group, is that we are always thinking that only it is happiness which is fulfilling.
Yeah.
I think trauma, all kind of pain is very, very essential in life to grow as a person.
Yeah.
And I think Swami Paramhans was dying of cancer. So, in physical terms, he may have said that he was not happy because, or you may think that such a big saint died of cancer. So that was not a very happy situation. But I feel that we have to stop always pursuing happiness and just let it be. Live in the moment as it is.
Yeah, that is called
It's
mindfulness
very
actually.
important, and because we are telling everybody be happy, be happy, be happy. So it spins off a negativity that Arre Bapre,
Exactly.
if I'm not happy, there's something wrong with me. It's
Yeah.
perfectly okay to be not happy.
Yeah.
My most creative phases have been when I've not been happy.
Yeah.
Happiness,
I completely actually I agree with that, and everybody, all of you have said, that happiness is really overrated. It's actually something that we should pursue
I think there's some network.
Sanjeev, the mic is off.
May I come in? Uh,
Yeah, please.
See, the first understanding is that for all of us, that the knowledge of the world is like all the oceans put together.
Hmm.
And what we have is actually not even a drop. It's a nano drop which we have. What we do, the Maya, which is called Maya in the Shastras, is that we basically wrongly perceive that nano drop to be the ocean of the knowledge which we have. All of us live in ignorance. That's the first thing. The moment you understand that you're living in ignorance, that will lead you to the awareness and beginning of knowledge in a person's life. Even Ram, with his exalted understanding, when he went to Vasishtha with a depression, he actually had a depression. He went to Vasishtha. Vasishtha said that Ram, the turmoil is the nature of nature. That's the first understanding you need to have. He said the other thing is that there are two options you have. Sometimes you can change the situation, sometimes you can't. The acceptance of the situation as it is the practice of Dhamma. He said when out of the womb of acceptance, peace is born. And out of the womb of peace, contentment is born. The actually happiness is a very Western concept we have because they concept what we have man, buddhi, chit, ahankar, these situations. Because mind is जब मन एक अवस्था नहीं है, उसकी कई layers हैं. तो जो mind, हाँ, the happiness is a very Western concept. What we are born with is a basically concept of contentment. The contentment and gratitude are the two sides of the same coin. The moment you start living every moment with gratitude, because things will never be normal as according to you. Nothing in this universe is made for you or is being made to desire. There are moments, what you think and you desire you get, and there are million moments when you do not get it. To be able to reconcile the two is the beginning of learning to live sober happily.
But thank you so much, because the picture that I have in my mind every time I'm in conflict, and I don't I'm just trying to say it's the samudra manthan, the tension, the tension between positive, negative, good, bad, and everything. There's always two sides to the same coin, and what comes out of the tension is nectar, right? And that's what I feel. I think to be in that tension is an amazing victory, actually, to be able to stand in that tension, like Archana said also, and like Navodita and like Praveen has been through also. And we all go through that in probably most moments of our lives, the tension of what to do, the conflict. And therein lies the victory and happiness. That's my two bits.
Yeah, and we are always in a learning process. We learn by doing things wrong, and after that, realizing that this is not the way I have to do these things. As ma'am was mentioning, that sometimes when she was very depressed and she was not feeling well, but she was very productive at that way. So we have
Yeah.
to accept that reality also. We are human beings. We have different personalities, and we have different perspectives, and we have different lifestyle also, so we have to accept that first, and after that it's all about the learning process, like when we are doing something
True.
and after that we are realizing that no, this is wrong and I have to do it in a different way. So the main concept is here, slowly we are going to learn new things and unlearn our like faults, and like what we have learned in a different way, sometimes we have to unlearn also these kind
Yeah.
of things.
Unlearn.
Yeah. So these are the techniques. So if we are going to discuss, we are going to discuss by 4 o'clock. So I think we have to end this meeting. And I think ma'am, she went out, I think.
So, any other last comments? Or do you want to go ahead and we can continue with the discussions, and whatever people can leave? And Archana, you are muted.
Too much of a good thing is bad, so let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you, everyone, and amazing conversations. I'll be in touch with a few of you, probably, hopefully, as I go through my own journey, and we can all be in touch with each other and inspire and help each other emotionally.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
So I will.
everyone. Thank you. Thank you.
Tejashi, ma'am, you want to say something? I can't hear you. Can't hear you again. No, we can't hear you. Yeah. Praveen, can you hear her? Because I can't. You can't hear her also, Navodita.
I think maybe the volume of her device is low, or maybe that's the reason.
Anything wrong, Sage?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ma'am, now we are able to hear you.
Yeah, now we can hear you.